All right, thank you and good morning. Wow, what a crowd. It's really impressive how this conference has grown over the last couple of years, which is a great statement for the success of UiPath and for the importance of intelligent automation in so many organizations. Obviously, many of the analysts have noted this as well in their surveys. I like this one from Gartner that talks about how 60% of organizations now that are over $1 billion in annual revenues have actually started their journey with intelligent automation. And they project that that number will grow as high as almost 85% by 2022. However, as most of you know, starting the journey and reaching scale are two different things. And certainly from our own research and that done by Forrester and others, we've noted that less than 10% of organizations have actually made it to scale today, even with RPA, let alone some of the more advanced forms of AI. So it's no surprise that here at the conference we're talking a lot about scale, how do you get to scale, what does it mean when you get there, and so forth. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And certainly we've helped a lot of our clients get to scale. Some of them are well on the journey. We had a great talk with Toyota yesterday, great client. But today we're going to focus on our own journey. Actually, believe it or not, EY Global is one of the largest users of automation in the world. We started 4.5 years ago in our own back office, and now we have 2,000 plus unattended bots that work both in our back office and helping us serve clients. We've also implemented multiple applications of machine learning, NLP, and even virtual agents. And now in 2019, we've started our journey with UiPath's attended automation. And that's what we're going to focus on today in an effort to somewhat demystify attended automation. What are some of the use cases and how might you use it in your organization? But first I want to play a video that just shows you a little bit about our journey. Can you guys see the video?
At EY, we have over 270,000 people operating in 150 countries, and we have revenues of over $35 billion. We're actually one of the largest professional services organizations in the world. 4 years ago, we made a decision to invest in intelligent automation, RPA, and AI. We had to reduce our internal cost, but we also wanted to improve our value to our clients. Today, we have over 2,000 RPA bots, about 1,300 or so doing client work, and 700 doing internal tasks. Our 4-year automation journey has not been easy, but it has delivered breakthrough time and cost savings as well as value to our clients. We are so excited about the potential of IA and what it brings to EY and our clients.
All right, so as we turn to our journey into attended automation, these guys are the folks that have been driving it within our organization. So let's talk a little bit about why we decided to go down the path of attended automation, what were the objectives behind the initiative and so forth.
Thanks, Jeff. So we, as EY, are also undergoing SAP transformation, like you know. So we are currently, I think if we can go to the next slide.
Sure.
We are currently one of the largest SAP users as well. So we currently have an implementation that has a single global instance of SAP that covers everything that our client servers do on a day-to-day basis, like creating clients, updating clients, creating opportunities, the entire CRM lifecycle as well as engagement lifecycle. This project has been going on for about 3-4 years. We're already live in 20 plus countries. EY is in 140 odd countries, so we're still not there yet, but we have about 100,000 end users on this SAP system. So far, what we've heard from in terms of feedback is most of these 100,000 users are client servers, so they're doing audit work, tax work, other things on a day-to-day basis, but they need to go into the SAP system and enter those transactions. And they do this only maybe once a week to maybe once a quarter. So it takes a lot from an EY training perspective, support perspective, to be able to train them up and for them to kind of use and learn to use the SAP system well. Even though SAP is great at what it does, which is capturing transactions at scale for an enterprise such as EY, the feedback has been that the usability of these transactions is just not there for those non-professional or casual users, as we call them. So what we did was about a year and a half ago, Sanjay and I are part of the SAP practice, so we started looking at can we use automation in order to help that improve that user experience. So we initially started with unattended bots, so we were trying to capture it in an Excel sheet or some sort of form, and then send that form through an email and then the bot to enter it into the SAP system. We ran into several challenges with that, including by the time they'd got to the bot to enter it, the master data may have already changed. Plus, we had kind of separated the user with the knowledge of the transaction from the bot, so if there was an error, there was a lot of back and forth. To solve that issue, we then switched over to attended automation bots. And the initial goal was we already have built a SAP system. We've invested a lot like other clients. We want to make full use of that system. Can we add a bot on everybody's laptops so that when they want to do a SAP transaction, they call the attended bot, and then the attended bot leads them through that transaction in a very interactive manner. So that was the kind of the business objective genesis of this.
Okay. So it sounds like a lot of it had to do with the user experience, right, and improving that from native SAP.
Yep.
So talk a little bit more about the details of how the user experience has changed with UiPath attended automation in front of SAP.
Sure. So basically, the bot, the way I explain this to internal audiences within EY is we have built these 15 bots that now actually this week support about 25,000 of those 100K users. And the bot is trained to understand the SAP process as well as understand all of the error messages within SAP. So if the user gets that error message, they can kind of suggest it to go around. The bot does not enter the data. We still need the users to enter the data, but we use the bot as an end user to go through these 5 things, which is I open my laptop, I go to the attended automation tray, it lists about 15 processes, things like creating a client, updating a client information. When I click on that bot, the bot then takes over, and I watch the bot do navigation for me, so I no longer need to train 100,000 users on, you got to go through these 4 clicks in order to get to the place where you want to create a client. We no longer need to train them that before creating the client, go to another place, make sure there's not a duplicate already existing, so we don't end up creating duplicates. So that logic is built within the bot. The bot is always watching what the user is doing and taking them through the transaction. So that was the kind of the main goal. But in addition to that, we were able to add through the bot layer on top of the SAP screen guidance, help messages. So it's watching the screen, and we know on this screen users get tripped up on a couple of fields, so we can explain it there. The bot is also watching for SAP error messages, and sometimes these are technical messages that only someone who really knows the EY structure can understand. The bot either converts that to a more user-friendly message or suggests users on ways how to get around that message. And then the last 2 things here, continuous process monitoring. We were not able to track before which users were running which SAP processes. I mean, we could do it, but it was not as easy to do it. But through the bot, we know exactly who's running it, which sequence of steps they go through, where they're taking long time, where they're kind of getting common errors. So we can now address that by putting proper support for that. And then the last thing, which is also great, which is EY is 100 countries, or 140 countries, so we have to meet a lot of different requirements. Sometimes we have to add fields that make sense in one place, one service line, but not others. So using this bot technology, it knows who the user is, and it can simplify the screens without actually touching SAP. So we stay current with SAP upgrades. We don't it's just the layer that's being presented that gets changed. So, together, all of these things results in I don't want to go through each one, but basically, the feedback that we're getting is this completely changes the user experience from an end user perspective.
Okay, fantastic. So, Sanjay, let's turn to you and talk about the actual implementation of attended automation. What are some of the lessons learned? What are some of the recommendations you'd have for folks out here in terms of implementing attended automation?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff, for that question. Yes. So I think we had some specific guiding principles that really helped us during our attended automation journey. I think number one was a business-led scope definition exercise. So we had to come to a global understanding as to which processes we wanted to automate. So we went to our global partnership, spoke with them, asked them actually which process should we focus on, what your current pain points are, and took that feedback in and decided to pick the processes that we wanted to target first. The second point was the most important point as per us, which is technical expertise. So we spoke to our EY, internal attended automation center of excellence experts, Java experts within EY, and then also the UiPath product teams. So based on that, we gathered a lot of feedback because what we had to do was basically roll these bots out globally for thousands of users. So they could be different laptop variations, different things that folks have loaded on their laptops and so on. So we had to account for those kind of things. Or if hundreds of users or thousands of users log on at the same time, the bot should be scalable enough to handle that situation. Or there could be a user-defined use case where a user could just stop the bot in between just because you have to attend to an email, go to Outlook, or go to a Skype chat, and then chat with someone and come back. The bot had actually to wait for the user as opposed to just closing or failing at that point. So we had to account for those kind of things. So based on these things, we learned a lot. Internally, EY gained a lot of technical experience on how to build these UiPath bots. And the UiPath product team also helped us a lot. A specific example I can mention is there's this pause start feature that we just saw on the main stage the other day. But the way we would have received it would have thrown a wrench into our build, the way we were building the bots, actually. So we had to actually go back to the UiPath product team. We worked with the UiPath product team and asked them to make it a configurable option. They did that. They gave it to us. And then we could just go on our journey as to how we wanted to build the bots at EY itself. So we gained a lot of technical knowledge based on that. The last piece was a change management piece. We had a few end-user feedback sessions, went to the user community and asked them, showed them some prototypes. And then based on the feedback, we actually adjusted the bots. I think engaging with that end-user community is really key to maximizing the user experience as per us for these bots.
Fantastic. All right, Gautam, let me turn back to you, and let's talk about how many folks you have live today across the globe, and kind of what the next steps are, and what are some of the reactions you're getting from people?
Sure. So we started building it last year. We went live in July with a pilot of 3,000 users. And in our South Africa region, and then we just added this week, which Sanjay and I keep watching our emails, added this week another 20,000 users in UK and I, Singapore, so a different mix of countries. So in total, we have about 23,000, 25,000 end users using these 15 attended processes. So they're calling it every day. They're using that as the main way to go into the SAP system. The feedback has been, the initial goal was, can we solve the usability challenge? In that respect, it's just been great. It's night and day in terms of what they would have had to do to go directly into the SAP system and navigate through the screens versus going through the bots. EY is a big organization. We're still getting feedback, and we're saying that this is still a pilot, even though we have 25,000 users. And next steps is we want to add our US region, which will add another 50,000 users sometime next year, and then expand it to everyone within the firm. Some of the other things that we're working on right now, the bots work on an English language SAP screen. So even though when it's watching the screen, most of the time it's looking at these things called automation ID, so it's not dependent on the wording, it's not dependent on the language, but there are a few places where we don't have automation, SAP automation ID, where we have to rely upon the language. So as we expand it, we want to increase that to 5 other languages that EY supports and make it configurable so that every time we don't need to update it. Like I mentioned, we're also increasing the scope, 15 processes, but we're constantly getting HR, other functions within EY saying this could apply in another context. And then Sanjay mentioned UiPath product, so we're excited about what they showed us
A lot of new
on
things.
Monday. So a lot of new features, especially in the attended space, including the new tray where you can search for processes, things like that. So we want to keep up to speed with all the changes that UiPath is doing and build the bots in the next phase.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you both. I mean, I think this is a unique application of attended automation. We talk a lot about citizen developers, and I think that may be something that we move to down the road. But I think using it against an application like SAP that's used all over the globe is a way of rolling it out to thousands of users very quickly. So congratulations on the progress so far, and hopefully this helps you as you think about attended automation in your own organization. Both these gentlemen will be around at our booth if you'd like to ask some more detailed questions, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.